Hello and welcome back to Blame the Dice for Wargaming. My name's Tim and today we've got an unboxing video. It is a late one, I'm afraid to say. These guys were filmed like over a month ago and then I forgot about the assembly and the intro and outros part of things. So they've been sitting unloved and unattended, so my apologies. So we've got the Imperial Special Forces, really nice unit, really nice looking, good cards. It's going to be lots of interest in playing these. So stick around, take a look. So this will be part of a double feature, so stick around after this one because Clan Ren will be dropping shortly, but for the time being we're going to focus on the Inferno Squad. So let's get this one open and let's see what's inside it. Taking plenty of care to get the box open. Yeah, it's all good. Right then, let's look. Bases, as you'd expect. Cardboard, tokens, good stuff. Instructions, let's see if they're of any quality. And 2 sets of sprues. Excellent. Looks like there's quite a bit of variance in the models there. Let's have a quick look at this one. Okay, so I'm going to move this stuff behind so you can see what's on it. Yeah, some nice detail there. It's very similar to what you got on Iden. You can see a lot of kind of detail on the seams on the trousers, the boots, like the masks down here. Let me bring this nice and close. It's got a lot of the kind of real precise detailing, which is nice. That's going to help us, if you are a particularly good painter, really sell how nicely done these models are. Me, not so much. So let's just see what happens there. And nicely, they've got the pack that goes on the chest. On the Iden model, that was connected to her helmet, but you could cut off the hoses. But I did that and somehow I just ruined it. So mine doesn't have that, but the fact that these do, that's quite good because I think that's the right look for these guys to have that attached to their chest plate. Okay, so that's one, and this is the other. Like the John Rambo bandolier of bullets across the chest, and yeah, that must be the same one. Nice bulky heads. Tell you what though, the faces, let's try and get that into the camera, are cracking. This is one of the better ones I've seen. Okay, I know like Gideon and the other guy, they were CGI generated off people, but that must make them a little bit easier to sculpt. But they really have caught it there. I think they look spot on. I'm really pleased with that. Nice selection of weapons coming up as well. Got the sniper rifle there. Excellent. Looks like we're going to have plenty of options with this. Okay then, so what we'll do is we'll have a look at the cards and then we'll come back to this thing when I've assembled it. So we've got our new format instructions. Again, kind of limited in detail, but with the troopers, it kind of goes without saying. I don't think anybody really needs to have it explained to them. Some of your new rules explain that, which is good because there is quite a number of new dynamics added with this. In all fairness, I think this is one of the most exciting expansions we've had, particularly for the Empire, in some time. This is going to mean that not only are you getting Inferno Squad if you want it, but you're also getting some incredible upgrade options for shore troopers or for snow troopers. I'm reading about lots of people getting excited about the options there. So that's something we will talk through shortly. Okay, so that's your instructions. That's the boring part out of the way. Let's take a look at the cards. So this is what we're looking like for our cardboard. So 2 order tokens, great stuff because we're going to get 2 units out of this. Aims, dodge, standby, surges, nothing particularly fancy there. I guess the only thing of note is ion, so I guess we get to look forward to an iron weapon being in here. More suppression tokens than I think you really need, given we've got a total of 5 there. So I think we can expect to see some iron and suppressive words being something that these guys have access to. So it's no surprise at this point you do get 2 cards. There are 2 units inside here, one of which is the Imperial Special Forces as a squad in itself, and the other is Imperial Special Forces Inferno Squad. We'll start with the Special Forces as a standard unit before we move on to the Inferno Squad. Okay, so here's the card. So starting off quite a hefty points value up here, 68 points. But, you know, that's fine. At least you're getting 4 minis in your squad, which is better than nothing. They are a special forces unit, as expected. They're a trooper, which is kind of good for your ordering. And from a defensive point of view and health, 1 health per mini, 2 courage, red defense dice, and the surge on attacks to a hit, nothing defensively. So a pretty decent, but not the best defense, but still quite tasty in terms of they're going to be hard to kill and certainly hard to make panic. Talking about weapons, they've got the Special Forces E11, which is 1 to 3, but a black dice. So they've got the good stuff. They've got the hollow point good stuff, if that's a thing. Unarmed, they've got 1 black dice, standard stuff, nothing fancy. I might have expected them to be better, given their Special Forces, but I don't really think this unit's going to be about melee, so I don't think they needed to play with that dynamic. We have a number of upgrades. We've got grenades, we've got gear, we've got comms, we've got 2 trading slots, which is nice, always nice to play with those. And then we've got, lastly, a heavy weapons upgrade. So, those are kind of standard. This is the unfancy stuff, so let's look at the keywords. So, we've got Infiltrate. Now, outside of Iden, this is the first time, and Vader for that matter, this is the first time we're getting access to this, but this is truly the first time a unit, so a multiple unit, can have this, because obviously you know we can have 3 of these in a army if you were, well, if you wanted to. So Infiltrate, you may be deployed anywhere on the table beyond range 3 of all enemy units. So that's fantastic for your key positions, for your sabotage and moisture evaporators. If the key position is an absolute buster to get onto, you can use that to position yourself first. It comes with a cost because you might be able to deploy yourself first, but the second the opposing force puts down something, say, legal inside their deployment zone, if you're then going to be within range 3, well, that unit could be hung out to dry on its own. So, a great keyword, but you've got to really choose your moments to use it. But you might find this is one of those squads where it's got it, but you don't need to use it. Okay, next up, Marksman. I am loving this. So when attacking, you can spend an aim token to improve your attack dice result. So we've talked about this before, so you can spend your aim to make a surge to a hit, or conversely, a hit to a crit, which is fantastic for you trying to ping something out of cover, and you've got 1 hit and you just need to kind of force it through. And lastly, we've got a reliable 1. So at the start of the activation token, gain 1 surge token. That's the same thing you get on your Phase 2 troopers for the clones. We've seen how effective that can be, because that gives them constant access to tokens, and given the fact that these guys don't have a surge defensively, they have a much better chance then of when they do, get the wrong result on the red dice, that they can spend that, which is fantastic. Okay, let's look at the cards you get. So I'm going to do this a bit backwards to how I normally do it. So what I'm going to do, so I'll just take these 2 cards, put them to one side. We'll focus just on the kind of standard stuff first of all, and then we can start talking about Gideon and Del Mico, and we can see what we think of them. So, looking at this one, this is now something of a familiar weapon, I think. It is the T-21 Special Forces Trooper. It's a 1 to 3, 4 white attack dice, 29 points, so it seems reasonably well costed in all fairness, but this is the thing it's got. It's critical 2. This is a fantastic gun. Now, okay, we know white dice, they're just as likely to roll a hit as they are likely to roll a surge or a crit, but in essence, given the fact that you can, you will be kind of getting aim tokens on the regular with these. No, cut, so let's redo that. Okay then, and this is our heavy weapon choices. I'm going to do this differently to how I normally do it, so I'm actually going to not look at these 2 cards at the time being until we come back to looking at Inferno Squad, because I think it makes more sense to discuss them fully there. So let's start with the T-21 Special Forces Trooper. So this is becoming to be quite a regular seam gun. It was in the Trooper upgrade pack, which was the most recent upgrade, I think, for the Empire outside of Iden. And this is your 1 to 3, 4 white dice. Now the thing that makes this really good, because we know white dice are not the best or most reliable dice, but it's that critical 2. So up to 2 of those surges can be changed into crits. So this is one of these ones where it's either sugar or it's awful. So you could roll absolutely load of nothing, or you could get a load of surges and be pumping through crits, hitting armour. It can be really nice against that, of course. Getting things out of cover, fantastic against that. Really nice. And you think about this, when we've got things like Marksman, if you rolled well, you could then spend another aim token to turn a regular hit into a 3rd crit. So I know that's all a bit of a shoulda, woulda, coulda, and maybe it'll happen. but the variance again on these things can be phenomenal, and the fact that it's got the surge 2 and the critical 2 and the surge to hits anyway makes it much more likely this weapon is going to really give you something nice. I like that. I think 29 points is really well costed. Okay then, and now for the training upgrades. So we'll start with situational awareness before we move on to offensive push. So this one can go to a trooper or to a support unit, and you gain outmaneuver. So essentially aim tokens, dodge tokens can now be spent to block surges. Oh, let me restart that. Cut. Okay then, moving on to your training token, the training cards. Cut. Okay, now I'm moving on to your training upgrades. We have situational awareness. Situational awareness can go on to a support unit also, but it increases its points to 4 points if you do. But in this case, we're talking about 2 points. You gain outmaneuver, so you're able to spend your dodge tokens to block out crits, which is fantastic because that's what people go fishing for, and that can give you that extra survivability. And given the points you're paying for this unit just bare before you start adding things to it, I think that could be something you want to have on it as well, particularly if you're using infiltrate, because units that get infiltrated do tend to get targeted first just by the nature of the beast and the fact that they're going to be in weapons range that much faster. So, next card, offensive push. So, when performing a move, gain tactical 1, which essentially you get to game, you do a standard move, you get a name token. Really nice. Now this is an exhaustible card, so you would have to flip it, so it is a bit of a risk and reward, and it's a lot of points just for a single aim token. However, if you're in a position where you had to absolutely move somewhere, or let's talk about Marksman again, you need to move, you want to aim because it's really important you get a shot through on this unit. You can say, right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to spend my card. I'm going to do my standard move. We'll flip this, and we're now going to get my aim token. And when I shoot, I can turn one of those die into a crit or something. So it can be really, really good for a unit like this, where sometimes when it's absolutely got to make sure somebody dies, it's got that ability to say, right, and here's how I'm going to do it by getting a name token to support it. Excellent, but like I said, quite highly costed, given it does exhaust, but risk reward card, really nice. And they've got 2 training slots, so if you had points to spare, you can have them both and be extra good on the defensive and extra good on the offensive. Okay, and this is one of our new hotness cards, or at least I think it is anyway, so what do I know? But essentially this gives you a free action where you can gain scale. So scale, just as a very quick reminder, enables you to have, like, for that turn, given the ascension cables, the ability to clamber at the start or at the end of a move for free. It allows you to move through difficult terrain for free. Now, this is an exhaustible card, and again, it's another one for 4 points. But this is the card I am loving right now, because I can say in so many games that I've wanted to have this, and to now have access to this now is fantastic. And again, for a unit that could be infiltrating, so I use this on my Pathfinders, this is so reassuring to have, because you can infiltrate sometimes and think, well, actually, I'm forward, I'm kind of where I want to be in terms of distance up the board, but my position isn't great for what I want to do with them now they're here. And Ascension Cables allows you to have that free going up or down train without the detriment, and gives you that free kind of 1 turn environmental gear, which of course can be recovered to be reused. I think 4 points, that is really, really good value for money, and I love it. And your last upgrade card before we circle back around to look at the 2 heavies we avoided a minute ago. This is your Emp Droid Popper. This is one of our new grenades, and essentially this is for only 3 points, so pretty low value in terms of what it's going to cost you. But when you're forming your attack pool, you can use this grenade and add Iron 1 to that attack pool. It may go without saying, it might be completely common knowledge right now, but this is the exception to the rule. So if you said, well, all 5 of them now are going to chuck a grenade, doesn't matter if all 5 of them are chucking this grenade, it's still going to only add Iron 1. It's not cumulative on this the same way your impact grenades were. So this is a little bit of an exception, which is probably why it's 3 points versus the 5 points you pay for them. But really nice to have. How much gameplay it'll get will really kind of come down to how droid heavy lists out there remain, or how vehicle heavy things remain. But nice for the points, and I'm quite happy to see that one as another option in another trooper pack. So this is the Inferno Squad. So this is the card which is just for these guys. So right now, when you have the card, basically it's 34 points, and it's just the one mini, which is unusual. However, the thing that this one gives you that you won't have seen before, you don't normally get anyway, this is a fairly new mechanic now as of like the ARC Troopers and what have you. But this is a small squad, but it requires you to equip two named characters. So equip Del Mico and equip Gideon Hask. So this is now not just this one mini on his own, it's now a squad of 3 with 2 heavy weapons. So this is something really good, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how this works. In terms of its keywords, it's got Marksman, it's got Reliable 1, so it's virtually the same. In terms of differences, when you look over here at the value, the mini value is a health of 2. The courage value is the same. Standard weapon is now a 2 black dice, so that much more punch, so really nice that you're getting that. These guys do have the close quarters combat specialism, so they are doing a single red, but everything else looks around about the same. The difference is on this side, there's just the 2 heavy weapon slots, but we kind of already know that from the keywords. So let's have a quick look at the last one that remains that is different. So this has got Retinue Iden Verso. So at the start of the activation phase, if you're at range 1 to 2 of Iden, gain 1 aim or 1 dodge token. So straight away you have got an incredible additional way to be pumping aim tokens into these guys. And when we look at the guns they're going to be firing, you're going to see how useful that will be in just a second. But essentially, the mere presence of Iden on the board next to this squad is going to keep on giving them that aim token. So whether or not you're spending it under the normal guise of things just to get more hits through, or if you're spending it under the Marksman side of things to turn a hit into a crit to force it through some heavy cover, either way, that's really nice to have. And I'm not sure how they would have worked out the points for that, but it seems like that's a pretty good thing to have given the cards we're going to have with it. So let's have a look at these now. Okay, so we have Del Mico and Gideon Hask, both running 38 points, both heavy weapon. Both can go with the Special Forces squad on their own, so let's not forget that. However, these can also go to any Imperial trooper. So your Snows, so your the name's gone out of my head. What are they called? So here we have it, 2 heavy weapon upgrades that can go with this squad. This, of course, can also be ran with the standard Special Forces squad. And just note that text at the top, Imperial Special Forces only, or Imperial Trooper only. So any core trooper, so Stormies, Snow Troopers, Shore Troopers can all have either one of these characters. So that's going to really open this up to a lot of variation. But let's start with Del Mico. 38 points. This guy has a 1 to 5 sniper rifle, 2 black. Pretty nice. You can't argue with that. Now, interestingly, and as a bit of a bizarre component, this guy has, as the free action, repair 2, capacity 1. So for one, as a one-off, he can repair 2 damage on one of your vehicles, which is great. It's unusual in the way they've done it. Usually you see repair 1, capacity 1, or repair 2, capacity 2, or in R2's case, something like repair 2, capacity 4, or whatever it is. Either way, he can do it. You know, he can be quite beefy, but in this guy, he can just do it once. Now, he's got high velocity, so that means you aren't going to get to spend your dodge tokens against him, which is fantastic, and he's got lethal 1. So, while attacking, spend up to 1 aim token to gain Pierce 1. So essentially, this guy has the kind of more traditional sniper rifle there, so he can, with the aim token that you might get through, I don't know, through offensive push, or having Iden in proximity to you, or just because he took an aim token. But either way, this guy can push through quite a lot of damage, high velocity, Pierce 1, as well as if he's staying in the back of the squad, he can be quite influential in terms of keeping a vehicle topped up in its health, which is really good. So, let's have a quick chat about Gideon Hask then. So, Gideon Hask, range 1 to 2, courage 2, 2 red dice. Same applies, Special Forces, or any trooper as well, so any core unit. So, your courage is increased by 1, excellent. And you gain Coordinate Trooper. After you issue an order, you may issue an order to a friendly trooper at range 1. So this guy really does pad out the strength and the courage value of your squad, which is really, really nice. So the fact that he can go into a squad and beef it up, so your special forces become 3 courage. Your Inferno Squad also become 3 in courage if he's in it and he is the unit leader. If you're putting this in your snows, if you're putting this on your regular stormtroopers, if you're putting this on your shore troopers, straight away they're getting that courage value bubble, which is excellent. And because they've got coordinates, if this, if you are giving order tokens to him, he can then palm it off onto somebody else, which is great. And we've seen how effective that's been with the like the shore troopers and their mortar launcher. This is another way to keep those squads quite spicy and quite interesting by chaining tokens to them and having really good activation control. Where Del, on the other hand, doesn't have that increase in courage naturally. He's going to just go with whatever the squad's courage is, because he's only got health of 2, where this has got the courage increase. But essentially, if you're putting him on, say, snow troopers, for example, they always get that aim token because they've got the steady keywords. They move, they get an aim. So it's really fantastic kind of synergies. You can build some nice options, or stick them all together on a 1 squad and have Inferno Squad with Iden as this absolutely unstoppable killing team that can do almost anything. Whether or not you're going to want to do that, I don't know, because the reality is Del Mico wants to be far away, Gideon kind of wants to get a bit closer, and he wants to be around other troops, so I'm not sure if you really will get a chance to be using all the kind of keywords there, but still, it's nice to have, and if you play Battlefront 2, they were a lot of fun as a unit, and it'll be nice to play that out in your head, if nothing else. So here they are, fully assembled, and to my shame, I have also sprayed them before I remembered to show them to you, but that's okay, we are where we are. So, let's take a close look at the unit. So the level of detail you get inside these is rather remarkable. Now, one of the good things about the fact that I've spray painted this is you can see some of the detail which I've intentionally missed when I was trying to do the highlighting, which is really nice because you can just see the level of detail in there. And this guy is our heavy weapons officer, your unit leader, regular dude 1, regular dude 2, and regular dude 3. So I've personally not had the opportunity to get these on the table yet, hence why they are only spray painted. Because I tend not to run things unless I have painted them, unless there's an exceptionally good reason. But in this case, I just wanted to draw your attention to something which is a bit of a limitation, and I think FFG probably should have known better about this. So, let's just have a quick look at the cards again. You'll notice this is a 4-man group. So, that's our unit leader and the 3 troops that go with her, or him. That's Mico and Hask now added. Now, of course, they need a 3rd person to go with them. So essentially, we have a 3rd person, which is the heavy weapon option. So that looks a little bit odd, but also deprives you of being able to run this squad with the heavy, which I find a little bit dissatisfying. And I think FFG should have given an extra miniature to enable us to have that squad. Because to sell it as, oh, you can run 2 squads in this, is kind of a half-truth. You can, but you are limited, and I'm not a big fan of that. So what I've done, and I know a lot of other people have done, is they've bought an extra mini to fill that role. So here's one that I've bought which hasn't been painted yet, which essentially is going to form up that 3rd person, so we can run 2 squads with the 1 set. And at least that way I've not had to buy an extra box set. I've only spent a couple of quid on doing that, which wasn't so bad after all. So that's it, that's the full review of the squad, the special forces. Something to look forward to getting on the tabletop, and that will do for now. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you're staying safe and well out there. Bye for now.